This channel is for educational purposes only. All videos, presentations and writing are only for educational purposes and are not intended as investment advice. You can implement this while trading at your own risk. If you would like to learn and follow our videos, please subscribe.
Good day everyone, I'm Victor from Niger TradeWise. Today we're going to kick off with the analysis of last week in anticipation of what the markets will be like in this coming new week. So let's go to our partner broker, UFX. Now, as usual, we do one index, that is usually the S&P 500, a couple of stocks, and some currencies. So our first pick is the S&P 500. Now, the past week was, like we clearly indicated in our last analysis, was bullish. Of course, the previous one was bearish. Now, let us see how we expect tomorrow to go like. Well, basically, we see that there was a push here, bearish. Now, the bulls came, pushed it down, but we see that the bears came, forced it down, but the bulls came to the rescue at the end of the day. So it closed bullish. We expect it to be the same going into this new week. And that is for the index. Now, our next, what we're going to be looking at is a stock, Microsoft. So now from what we know, let's check out the week, how it ended for Microsoft. Well, it didn't end so well because it was bearish at the start of the week. Look, what we see here is that this new week, it might still go bearish, but ultimately the trend is up. So there might be maybe a sell-off of a few dollars, maybe $5 or $6 might be a sell-off. And then there'll be a pushback. But from what we can see, the week was not the best for it. Now, as we can see here, the bears were in control. The bulls came, tried, pushed, but they were ultimately forced with just a few gains. So we expect to see that probably going into the new week, Microsoft will be bearish for a couple of days and probably end the week in a bearish form. Now, we will move on to the next pick. That's the e-commerce giant, Amazon. So here we go. Right. Now, this was a tricky one. First, of course, the bulls had it all their way. The bears came and forced it down. So as we can see going forward, this is a bullish trend. It's going up. But we expect to see that in the days ahead, it will have some bearish days. Perhaps the first 3 days of the week, maybe Monday, Tuesday, to Wednesday about, and then to have a turn. We can see here Thursday wasn't the best, and neither was Friday. We expect it to probably drop a couple of dollars and then continue the trend back up. Now we will move to Facebook, the social media giant. Oh dear, my apologies. Now. So Facebook was excellent last week. Look at this. Previous week was, of course, a struggle. This past week was something else, about $20 plus gain. So we shouldn't expect anything different. There might be some, let's see. The week might, of course, Thursday, Friday, there was a push back here, push up. The week might be, you might find a few bearish days, but ultimately we expect the new week to end on a bullish trend, and that's going up. Our next stock pick is Twitter. Now, this was the previous week. Look at this. This was quite bullish. This was bearish, of course. The bulls tried to take control of the market, but the bears forced them down. Fortunately, the past week, this very past week, the bulls had the entire market to themselves. Of course, it was about a $3 gain, which was still good. So we should expect, my apologies for that. So let's back to this. Now, we expect to see that this past week was bullish. Now, let's go to the daily chart. Well, we did see some pullback here, but we expect to see, based on our analysis, that the week continues on a bullish trend. Now we would go to the next stock, which is Apple. Okay. Okay, so now the past week was quite good for it because the previous one, the bears forced them down, and this past week it gained a couple of shares, about uh, $8 to $10, which is good. Now we don't expect anything different going into the new week, but ultimately we see that if you in the coming days there might be some pullback in the stock price, and just maybe probably $4 or five. We cannot really place it, but we might see a few. The stock price will generally drop by a couple of dollars before it resumes its trend. Now before we see anything, let's look at what trend it is. We notice that look, it's bullish here. Of course, it might come down, but ultimately, in the long run, it will go bullish. Now, our next stock pick will be Pfizer, pharmaceutical giant. Let's see. Now, let's look at what happened last week. Oh, Pfizer has been struggling. This was up, down, up, down, here. So what we should be looking at here, we believe that in this coming week, Pfizer will probably lose a couple of dollars, so it will be bearish in the coming week. And let's just look at what we expect to see on Monday. Well, the bulls tried to push, but ultimately we see that the share price will probably drop. Now let's move to our currency pairs. We will start with the Euro USD. Oh, it's right here. So now from what we can see here, we believe this should be bearish in that the previous 2 weeks were not in any form in the bullish trend. The bulls were not able to take control of the market. Of course, they did try in the previous week, as we can see here, but ultimately were forced down. We don't expect to see it go any higher, but it will probably go down. As we can see, the last 2 days of the past week were bearish, so it will probably go up in that format for the rest of the coming new week, actually. Now, let's see the British pound USD. You might notice that we're concentrating more on the dollar denomination pairs, but well, these are the markets that move the most, so we do not want to look at currencies that will probably not move. So we're actually working, if you notice, we're actually focusing more on the pairs that get a lot of traction. So our next pair is the British pound USD. Now, we expect also to see that it's bearish. Oh, you can actually see it here. The bears had control the previous week. The bulls tried, but were ultimately forced down. Now, what we expect to see is this, that this will also head down. Look at the last 3 days of the past week. Bearish, 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 bearish. So we don't expect to see anything new in the coming week, just probably that. Our next pair is the USD Japanese yen. Now, okay. So this is the daily chart. Let's see how it, well, my apologies. Okay, so the last 2 weeks, the bulls have tried, and they seem to be gaining some traction. Now, what do we expect to see here? There was this place is an important place. So we expect that perhaps this will break up and head up. So let's, oh dear, my apologies. So let's look at this. Bullish here, bearish here, bullish here, bearish, and bullish. We expect this trend to continue on an uptrend in the coming new week. Now, the last pair we're going to look at is the USD Canadian dollar. Now, let's go to the weekly chart and see what happened. Okay, the past 3 weeks, bearish, bullish. It was bearish. The bulls came, pushed, but it ended with almost no pair difference. So what we should expect to see perhaps is that if you look at this, let's look at this a bit closer. The trend is bullish. It's been going up, but all of a sudden we notice that it's been going down, 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 and perhaps it's just retracing. So let's see, perhaps in the new week, we might have it bullish for a couple of days before there is a turnaround. Oh yeah, Thursday, Friday, we're bullish days. So we expect to see it go higher. That's what we expect. So these have been the pairs, the financial pairs we've analyzed. Like, I want to just let you guys know, if you have any currency, any commodity, any index you want us to analyze for you, please, you can just visit www.nigertradewise.com, leave us a message, and we will include it in our next analysis. We also provide free education on how to invest in the financial markets. We don't charge you any penny for it. You just have to use any of use our partner broker UFX, and we will offer you that free education. So we don't charge. Once again, we don't charge any penny for any of the financial material we provide. All that we put out there is free. And if you want to know more, like I said, just write us and we will include that in our analysis. I'm Victor once again. You guys have a great new week ahead. Thank you.